Victor, I'm upgrading the processor in this computer. I'm swapping a new one. This one right here is called the processor, and I wanted to show you. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and pop this open. Press the power button for a couple seconds, at least 30 seconds, before you touch anything in here. Okay, and then I'm going to pull this this drive, this one, or this heatsink off. And there's an order that you have to go in. You have to go this one, this one, this one, this one. Let me get my extension. Okay. It's a little tricky sometimes. Okay, and just hold it down like this. Okay, the last one. Okay. And then, so you see over here, we're just gonna wiggle it. So it has a little clip right here. And what you do is you just pull that out like that. And it's got this garbage thermal compound off of here. We're gonna clean that up. And then this is the processor. This is the RAM. This is the video card. These are the hard drives. This is the power supply. This is the CD-ROM drive. And let me teach you. I'm gonna clean the chip thing off. Okay, so the chip, this is all very sensitive, right? And if you were to spill something on here, you would most certainly ruin it. So if you do spill something, you want to be able to spill something that is alcohol. So you want to use something that is 90% or higher alcohol. And this is what I use. I just use this, I can get it cheap here. Okay. And we soak the rag like this. And then I'll grab this guy and cover this up. Okay. What I'm gonna do is clean this off. See, that spirit just takes it right off. Okay. Make sure there's no debris over here. See all this little silver garbage? This is actually made of metal and it's conductive. So you can't have this just gopped around everywhere inside the case. All right. That's done. Okay. And then what you do is you have to push down. And lift this up. You push down and then it goes out. All right, so this is the riskiest part of this whole process. It's this right here. Okay, so I want you to notice there's an arrow right here, and that tells you what direction it goes in. If you look at this one, this has got the arrow facing this way. Okay. Go ahead and open it so we don't have to futz around with it. Now this is a fairly large chip because this is going in a server. And, today's, computers usually have smaller chips, but servers still have big chips in them. So, it's very heavy and it's awkward. And, if there's 2011 pins and underneath that socket. That's why it's called an LGA 2011 socket. And all of those pins are solid gold and they bend very easily. So if I were to drop this on here, which I'm hoping I'm not going to do today, I would be spending the next couple of hours trying to salvage the pins on this. Otherwise, I would be replacing the whole server board, which is not fun. So we're going to go ahead and look closely. And what I recommend you do is you get a little bit of alcohol on your fingers and you dry off all the oil that's on your fingers. And let your hands dry for a second. See how my fingers are very tacky now? Now we can grab the sides of the chip and lift it straight up. And now we have the chip. So while we're here, what we're gonna do is you can see all those silver little pins down there, and they are at an angle, right? The camera is picking it up a little bit. You can see closely that the pins are like this. And you wanna look at the pins from all different angles, make sure none of them are bent. Okay. See, one of the pins will just gleam in the light if it's bent. You can tell. So we just look at this side. Oh, they all look the same, so none are bent. So now I'm gonna grab my new chip. Now recall that the triangle, when we pulled the chip off, I pulled the chip straight off and then set it on my table exactly the way that it was, so that I know exactly the direction that it goes in. But if I forgot, there's only two possible directions this can go, and that's, it's keyed this way. So old chips like this don't really prevent you from putting it in the wrong way, and by the time you put it in, it's already too late. So let's go ahead and put this back in here. We'll go ahead and inspect the chip. See, it's got a little bit of adhesive right here on this chip. This is a Xeon chip. So we're going from a Xeon that is a e5-1660. This is a 1603. And we're gonna go to a 2690. So I'm gonna grab the chip carefully. Okay, and then we'll orient the chip in the correct direction. We'll inspect the chip for any defects. We'll be careful not to get any stuff on the pins. Okay. And then when we place the processor down inside the socket, we're gonna line it up like this. And then drop it in. So the way that I did that is I lined up the edge and then I kind of placed it gently down. All right, so next we just do our exact procedure in reverse order. What we're gonna do is put this down, and then we'll put this down. Then we'll put this down like this. And yes, my love. Okay, give me like a minute. Okay, dinner's ready. All right, let me grab my thermal paste. This is called thermal compound. And what this does is it fills in, so in the surface of this chip, and the top of this heatsink sit like this. And there's a gap in between there. And we need to fill that gap with a metal compound so that it conducts the most efficiently. So if you can imagine, if we put too much, it's gonna be too much thick and then it won't cool right. Now if I put too little, it won't cool right because there won't be no conductivity. So what we need to do is use something called the P method, and I'll show you how to do the P method. Now there's lots of different videos of people taking this compound and making different X's and, you know, put lines and stuff, but, you know, in my experience of doing this for over 10 years, this is the best way, and I'll show you why. So I'm going to open this box. This tube, and this is made of a silver ion or a zinc ion. The more expensive your thermal compound is, the more likely it is actually going to be made of silver. Okay. Let's make sure it's not dry. Okay. So we're going to place an amount the size of a small pea. Okay. Now it's very important that we do this correctly. So what we're going to do, so when we place this down, we don't want to hesitate, right? Because if we hesitate, what's going to happen is the following. So we have this old chip right here, right? Okay, I'm going to clean this off all nice and shiny. Okay, so we have a processor case here, right? And this stores the chip. Now it's see-through, so I'm going to place this in upside down like this with some thermal compound on the other side so you can see what it looks like here. Okay, I'll show you. Okay, so I'll start I'm gonna take some of this cheap thermal compound right here. Okay, we're gonna go like this. I'm going to place an equivalent amount, not that much. If you notice, that one came out a lot quicker than the more expensive thermal compound. Okay, so you see I placed a small pea-size amount, and if I press it here, and then if I press it here like this, it should make, but you see I lifted it up, and now what happens, since I lifted it up, it creates an air bubble, right? And we don't want that. So anyway, it's very important we place this down correctly. And after seeing that, I might actually apply a little bit more thermal compound to the bottom of the chip. Great. Okay. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is when I place this down, it hasn't set yet. Okay, now it's set. All right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to keep some pressure on this. I'm going to grab my screwdriver, and we're going to tighten it in that special order, if you remember. Well, it doesn't look like it looks like I'm gonna create a bunch of air pockets, but it's not possible to avoid in this design. Okay, so we got this one tightened. Okay. Keep it pushed down. Push down a little bit. Okay. Now just do the third one. I have to push just a little bit to get the screw to bite. Okay. This one. Okay. And I'll tighten this up. All right, so this is all tightened down. All right, this is mounted solid. Don't forget to plug the fan back in. It will not be happy with me if I do that. All right, now we just put the case back on. All right, say a little prayer. Please fucking work. And then we just, I'm gonna stand it up. So here. Plug it in. Turn my screen on and